So please welcome up Erik Wiese. This is a 20 to 25 minute speech.
Oh,
Erik Wiese.
crap. Here we go. Thank God there's only two speakers.
What a welcome response. So what is the difference between the Chargers and a $1 bill?
What is the difference between the Chargers and a $1 bill?
With a $1 bill, you can get 4 quarters. And because the Chargers moved out of our hometown, left us high and dry after stringing us along with a lot of failures, I had to look around and say, do I still want to follow the Chargers up to LA and have them as my favorite team? Or can I perhaps find another team that does things better, that doesn't leave me heartbroken? And you know, I actually had a team. When I left Tacoma, Washington, as soon as I left where I grew up there for 18 years, the Seattle Seahawks all of a sudden started winning. Then I went to Boston for 4 years, and when I left there, all of a sudden the Patriots started winning. So all I can think of is if you guys want the Chargers to win, I just need to leave town. But since that's not going to happen anytime soon, I've decided to go back to the Patriots and make them my home team. And there's a lot that we can learn from the Patriots. So I put together a very nice presentation I think you guys are all going to be excited about. And the neatest thing is Kiefer is here to fix anything I do that I screw up. Because the last time that he was here, he helped me, so I'm sure he is ready and waiting to do the same thing, but hopefully it will not be required. How about that? It's working. Okay. What is interesting about football is, unlike baseball, at the end of a season of winning, they penalize you with draft picks. They give the losing teams better drafts. And everyone has the same amount that they have to spend on all of their players. So it's supposed to make it competitive from one year to the next. You're not supposed to end up with a dynasty the way that you do in baseball, for example, where New York is always at the top and LA is always at the top. Here, we're seeing something rather unique. How can we learn from the Patriots when Bill Belichick and Tom Brady and Julian Edelman have won 5 rings? They've won 5 Super Bowls. That's amazing. That's more rings than all of these franchises that are right here. You can see all of these other teams haven't even gotten as many Super Bowl wins as Tom Brady and the Patriots have. Now, Julian Edelman is a wide receiver for the Patriots, and you can see how strong and masculine he is. I actually had to shrink this down because he was mostly naked in the picture that I chose, and I thought it would be totally inappropriate to bring a completely naked man to an all-men's group. That would be more appropriate for the women's group, you know, later on. So I've got that figured out for later.
Okay, Al.
And Bill Belichick, now this is really neat. You've probably seen lots of coaches who dress nicely, like Toastmasters, like suits and coats and jackets, and not him. He likes to dress down like he just came out of a big snowstorm and he's been working on his car, and he's always got this look on his face which is like, you guys all are not meeting my level of expectation. But I will now show you how this guy continues to put together a winning team time and time and time again. All I have to do is press this button and I'm assured it's working! Okay, so Bill Belichick has a winning average with the Patriots over 18 seasons of .743. Close to 3 out of every 4 games. Consistently over 18 years. That's phenomenal. He's got 5 Super Bowl wins in 2001, 2003, 2004, 2014, and 2016. It's really a very easy thing to take the Patriots as my new home team because I'm assured of a lot of wins. I'm not going to be as disappointed as I am with the Chargers. So how does Belichick keep winning? Now this is a picture of after they won the last Super Bowl, of them all meeting with Donald Trump, another winner here. You can see 5 Super Bowl trophies there. And you can see this team actually sees it as a benefit to go meet with our president. None of them decided to take a knee or not show up. Just offhand. All next one. Now, the first thing you learn how to do when you're part of Bill Belichick's team is you learn to adapt to exploit your opponent's weaknesses. Now, I know that you guys were all looking forward to hearing me talk and talk and talk, but I had to put some extra fun stuff in here for you that should work just like this.
Onside kick. Vinatieri to make it a 6-point. Looking over that. Of course, the ball would be in play now under the new rules when it's out of bounds.
Is that amazing? Is that amazing? He popped right over the center, didn't touch him where it would have been a penalty, and blocks the punt. Or blocks the
field goal.
Point
You
after.
saw it finally pay off. You say, why do they do the long jump at the combine? Look at this. We first saw this with Cam Chancellor with Seattle
Right?
in the playoffs maybe a year ago. If he makes contact with any of those offensive linemen, then I think it's a foul.
That is adapting to exploit an opponent's weaknesses. Now, what's interesting is this maneuver is actually named after someone else. So Bill Belichick didn't have to be a genius to think of it. He just saw somebody else do it because of the massive amount of research he did and said, we need to do that. And it could work with this team. So he put it together, they timed it perfectly, makes them look like geniuses. That's good. All right, so the second thing Bill Belichick likes to do is be unpredictable. Surprise them with hidden strengths. And you're going to like this one.
Third down for this New England offense. And they snap it, and now here comes a double reverse, and they throw the ball to Brady. Across midfield will step out of bounds. How about that?
New England has never been shy about doing things. Brady makes it look like he's got some confusion. They direct snap it. And here's Tom Brady. See, Brady is doing a great acting job there. And now he sneaks out and catches the ball. Nice catch.
Isn't that funny? You actually have to see it about 3 times to see what's going on because there's so much misdirection in those plays, so much surprise and really deceit in order to set this up. And then you have a quarterback getting a pass and acting as a receiver. Who would predict that? You've got these receivers you're paying $10 million a year for. Why do you want your quarterback getting hit? And yet there's nobody who can hit him until he's 30, 40 feet, 40 yards downfield. It's a brilliant play. In the field of business, is there anybody that you know that uses unpredictability in order to surprise their opponents with some hidden strength? Have you guys, can you think of anybody who uses that as an advantage? Well, since no one is volunteering, I will throw this in. There's a lot of people who think that Trump's use of Twitter is bad, and yet he's been able, doing that, to surprise a lot of his opponents and take over the news cycle. That's somebody that before now politicians never used. So that's just an example of how you can grab stuff out of the field of sports and have it working outside of the field of sports. Now let's see here. Time for the next slide.
Feels like a very...
Let's go with that one. Now, what I'd like to illustrate here is habitually expanding your comfort zone. We all have what we do well, and we are used to it. And yet, we've all gotten used to coming to Toastmasters to expand our comfort zones with public speaking, things that we're not comfortable with, and we try different stuff. We'll try something humorous, we'll try something entertaining, we'll try speaking, in my case, for a short period of time instead of a long period of time. We try lots of different stuff. And that's expanding your comfort zone. It's no different in any field. If you can get better at doing more, then you have more weapons in your arsenal.
Barrier was coming in on Brady. This is not. That's a lateral going back to Brady. Now Brady wanting to go long. Gaffney's waiting for it. Gaffney is in for the touchdown.
They're called safeties for a reason. Play it safe. Don't get fooled, and they do. That is Anthony Smith in the back. Ja'Marr Anthony knows he's wide open. The ball hangs, and Anthony Smith misses.
So that was a double lateral to set up that long pass from Tom Brady to Gaffney. Now Gaffney is not one of their bigger names. He's a receiver who can obviously catch the ball, he can run, he was at the right place at the right time. But one of the things the Patriots do is they take normal, not super extraordinary people, and they get super extraordinary results out of them. They expand those people's comfort zones. They get people to move outside of their box. And that's why he's open. That's why he's not being covered. He's not a big name receiver. It was easier for him to get open, the same way as in the previous play, Tom Brady could get open as a receiver because no one expected him to ever catch a ball.
Barrier was coming in on Brady.
All right, train players to perform other players' jobs. How many times have you gone to somebody in your organization and said, I need somebody to do this task? And they look at you like, well, that's not in my job description. Isn't there somebody else that you can get to do that? No, we don't have a job description that prevents us from doing the job that needs to be done. Now, a lot of people think that way, but the organizations that don't have a huge advantage. They can step in and perform other people's jobs. And how often does that happen? How often do we have people who show up sick, or we have somebody who gets pregnant, or we have somebody who leaves town because of a death in the family? You have to be able to step up and do other people's jobs. And the organizations that do have an advantage. They have a competitive advantage.
Edelman in motion. Edelman takes the swing pass. Edelman's going to throw. Deep downfield, wide open. Amendola. Touchdown. Wow. Amendola. Tremendous. So for the second time, New England overcoming a 2-touchdown deficit.
A little confusion to boot here. Amendola takes a step back. Defensively, you know what that is, but it's so hard. All those quick screens as a defensive back, you have to attack it. Look at him. Man, get my arm there.
So Edelman is not a quarterback, but you wouldn't know it from that play. He's doing the quarterback's job. He's normally a wide receiver, and yet now he's moved into somebody else's position in order to make the trick play work. It's pretty fun to watch that. Now, Jerry Davenport, I've only been a part member of this club for years, I still can't say it right. So Jerry said never, never, never give up earlier, and he was talking about a business. He was talking about a business that was making candles, They ended up having some type of weird experiment go wrong, and they ended up figuring out that they could get ivory soap that would float. And as a result of it floating, everybody wanted it because there's still people bathing in rivers who are losing their soap if it doesn't float. Now, this is an example of a company that never, never, never gives up. We also have the perfect example of Winston Churchill, who was surrounded by a hostile Germany, being bombed all day long in 1942. Everything was going wrong, and he said, America's going to come and help us, and until they do, we must never, never, never give up. Now, this is an example of a longer period of time that we're going to watch. This is about 5 minutes, but this is the last Super Bowl where the Patriots were behind by 25 points, the biggest differential in Super Bowl history. A lot of people had given up on them. They'd left the room. They'd gone to do something else. They'd turned off their TV. And if you did, you would have lost the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history. So enjoy this, because this is really fun.
Freeman on a toss, running left, blocker in front of him, Matthews. Good start, Freeman breaks loose. Devontae Freeman, welcome to the Super Bowl, out to the 45. Brought down by Malcolm Butler and a carry of 37. On the 33, Blunt gets it on the handoff. Ball's out. That ball is out. A flag is down. And now the fight for the football.
21-0 at this point. And it gets worse for the Patriots. Now it's 14-0.
Falcons over the right side of the Patriots offensive line. Passes back. Intercepted.
This could be a little bit depressing for the Patriots right now.
And the Falcons add to their lead.
Look at him showboat it in. Look at him just rub it in the faces of those fans. 21-0.
Brady flew for his last attempt, second and 10. Good protection again, and Brady finds a receiver. It's White. Nice move for a first down and more. Inside the 30. 41-yard try by Gostkowski, who is 29 of 31 all time during the postseason, and he has hit 20 straight. Good snap, good hold, kick. On this route, that frees him up. Malcolm Butler in coverage right there, trips him up. Never had a 100-yard game in the NFL. Here is Coleman, end zone, touchdown.
All right, so this is going to make it 28-3. It's a 25-point differential in this period of time, the biggest in Super Bowl history. This is where Tom says, if my receivers aren't going to get open, I guess I got to do it all by myself.
They've done a good job not giving up big play. Now they'll throw. Pass is caught. That's White. Touchdown.
All right, the comeback has just begun.
Out of the shotgun, Ryan gets hit. Ball is out. This is a fumble. New England has it. Brady, end zone touchdown. Ellen Bell. Two-point conversion here to really apply the pressure on the Falcons. They were 1 for 2 during the regular season on two-point tries. On the right snap. And it's good. James White.
So they're getting 2-point conversions, which is pretty amazing. You have to run the deck in order to be able to get back in the game.
Throws on the run. And Jones.
Look at that amazing pass. They're going to show this again in slow motion. This is an amazing catch.
Jones on the sideline. Good ball. That's unbelievable coverage by Erik underneath him. Ryan broke contained. I thought he was going to run.
The other team doesn't just fall apart. They're doing a good job trying to stay in the game. They actually have to beat these guys.
Here's Edelman broken up, and the pass is no sign yet.
Edelman is not giving up.
Comes down with a football, and they're saying it's a catch.
Look at that.
Never touched the ground.
It's incredible. And he got and touchdown, James White.
Now they still have to get this last 2-point conversion. There's only 57 seconds left in normal time. And he gets that over by about 3 inches. That's about it.
Completed 10 in a row.
Now this is overtime. This is overtime.
Toss the right. He's in. Patriots win the Super Bowl. Brady has his 5th. What a comeback.
That's the owner of the team, Robert Kraft. Commercial. Didn't get that part out. Was that amazing or what? Was that an amazing comeback? It is so neat that we can actually have inspirational stories like this that we can find within the last year that I can go and copy off the internet for your benefit. So what is a summary of these winning principles that we've taken a look at? The first is you have to adapt to exploit your opponent's weaknesses. As a commercial real estate broker, I have people all the time that I have to compete with for a sale. And they have flooded into my market and are working my market and doing industrial sales. So I have to see that, oh, well, maybe it might be easier if I did some commercial sales, if I went and did commercial cold calling, because then I don't have quite as much competition. I may stumble across a little bit more commission dollars for us in our office. So you need to adapt to where you see you can be effective as a businessman or as a coach. Second, you have to be unpredictable. We've all been taught not to lord it over people, to be so arrogant that we alienate people. And that is so true, because when you do that, you alienate potential allies. You also can surprise them with hidden strengths if you're not bragging about them. 3, you have to habitually expand your comfort zone. Try to improve yourself. You spend lots and lots of money going to college at an early age to improve yourself. You don't have to spend as much money coming to Toastmasters to improve yourself, but you can improve yourself all the time by reading or by trying something different. Recently, we started playing charades at the dinner table. It's absolutely hilarious, very fun. Most of my kids had to be dragged to the table to do it, but once they did it, I think they were happy about it. 4, train your people, your personnel to perform other people's jobs. It gives you flexibility. You never know when you're going to need to have somebody else step in and do that function. 5, never, never, never give up. Now, there's plays, at the end of the play, you go back into your huddle, but so there's small periods of time where you have to adjust, recognize you didn't win that battle, but you don't give up on the war. You come back and you keep fighting. 6, humble oneself to the greater good of the team. And I will, up to now I've been talking about positive examples, and I won't use this gentleman's name, but we had a wide receiver on the Chargers who a couple years ago we were in a playoff game, and our quarterback gets a call on the day of the game to come and give this guy bail money to get him out of jail. That's his wide receiver who was off partying too hard the night before, got a DUI, and had to be bailed out of jail on the day of the playoff game. That's a perfect example of putting your own ego, your own playtime ahead of the team instead of subordinating yourself to the goal, which is to win the next day. Don't do that. Research the opposition to focus resources intelligently. You only have a certain amount of time, money, effort. You need to know where to spend them. If you're spending your whole time learning how to guard against something that the other team is never going to do, that's time you could have spent more effectively. Now, one of the things that Bill Belichick is known for is spying on the other team, and he has actually gotten in trouble for breaking the rules and getting penalized for that. So that's going a little bit too far, but you can go all the way up to that line without getting a penalty. You have an advantage. 8, control your emotions. Don't let them control you. If you looked at the way Tom Brady came back from a 25-point deficit, he was the Iceman. He didn't get excited until the very last play when they won the game. Up until then, he kept everything in check. He kept confidence that they were going to be able to pull their fat out of the fire. It's easy to say that, it's hard to do it, but the people who master and harness their emotions will get a lot further in life than those who are controlled by them. 9, drill and practice perfects performance. I was a coach. I could not encourage my people to do the drills, the basics, as much as I would like to. They got bored. They didn't want to do it. They were tired. When tired and bored, they didn't want to do it. Then they wouldn't show up to the next practice. The really good coaches can try and make it exciting for people to practice basics. They can try and make some other type of thing to excite them, some other different way of doing the drill. But if you don't concentrate on the basics, if you don't do that drilling, you're not going to be able to perform under pressure, and the teams that can do it are going to win. And finally, the last thing I would say that Bill Belichick can teach us is you hire and inspire people who love to win and hate to lose. I'm in a sales job. I'm surrounded by people who should be excited to come in each day and ring that bell when they make a sale. And it is exciting when we ring that bell and we make a sale. It is the most exciting thing in the world. And now I'm going to show you a quick video of people who love to win and hate to lose. This is a different Super Bowl.
Pass is intercepted at the goal line by Malcolm Butler. Unreal.
There's a Super Bowl back in 2014.
The phenomenal play that wound up in Percy's arms. There were flags on the field for celebration.
Came down to the last play. 20 seconds left in the fourth period.
Butler, a rookie free agent out of West Alabama.
They try to pick play out. They tried to go here, but he beats them to the punch. And I'm sorry, but I can't believe the call. I cannot believe the call. You've got Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. You've got a guy that's been borderline unstoppable in this part of the field. I can't believe the call.
And there is Brady.
Is he excited? Now look at his face.
And Richard Sherman.
Perfect example of people who love to win and hate to lose. That's what makes competitors. That's what makes winners. So I've got one final thought here. What is the similarity between a linebacker and a broken payphone?
What is the difference?
What is the similarity between a linebacker and a broken payphone?
That's what I said. What is the similarity?
If you don't get the quarterback, you hit the receiver.
Oh.
Fellow Toastmaster.